All right, let's call this meeting to order. And Sam, would you like to say the prayer this morning?
Certainly. Let's pray. Our most gracious and loving Heavenly Father, we come to you today seeking your guidance. We ask that you help us and give us wisdom and discernment as we address the business of the county. We ask that you look after those who wear the uniform and keep us safe, particularly for those in harm's way. Bring them home safely to their families. Also protect our first responders. We'd like to thank you and be thankful so much for our veterans. Look after them. Ask that you bless and protect everyone here, and ask that you forgive us our sins. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any public comments? Go ahead and proceed with the regular business. We need to review and approve the minutes from the July 29th special call fiscal court meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
How was that though?
Mr. Randolph and Mr. Bush.
Larry Randolph.
Yes.
Bobby Bush.
Yes.
Marty Chandler.
Yes.
Blake Hartland.
Yes.
Travis Spears.
Yes. Next, we need to review and approve the minutes from the July 3rd regular fiscal court meeting, which Mr. Randolph was not in attendance.
Move we approve.
Mr. Tarpley. Second. Mr. Bush.
Blake Hartland.
Yes.
Bobby Bush.
Yes.
Marty Chandler.
Yes.
Larry Randolph.
Abstain.
Jamie Spears.
Yes. Next, Bobby Groves would like to get us up to date on his road resurfacing list.
Y'all have the copy of the list that has the highlighted area on it. A month or so ago, we approved the flex roads. The state approved all those roads except Crow Avenue, which didn't surprise me, but I thought we'd put in the rest of them. But I'd like to go ahead and get approval on the rest of this list for paving. That includes, one thing we added there at the bottom, we included restriping on row arc in this. I'd like to go ahead and get it approved so we can set it up to have part of them get started, make that line up and pay.
On the McKinney Chapel, how much are you widening that?
Be 1.5 foot on each side.
Okay.
Like we normally do.
All right. And we talked about, do you think you talked about on John's Loop, if you had any extra, you might be able to go a little further. Do you think you'll be able to do that?
More than likely, it'd kind of just be, easily kind of leave something like that at the last one, that way we know where our, I've never had it run over, we usually have a little extra left, but that'd give us an area to know what we have at the end.
Okay. And you're on the opposite end of the interstate. When you go the east.
John's Loop?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, start with the south intersection of Rapids.
Yeah, where, yeah.
No, it could go
That's
past.
why I read it.
It would go to about Mike Groves' house.
Okay.
There's a seam right there, joint where it's been paved separately before.
Okay.
Need a motion to approve Bobby's list.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Chandler and Mr. Tarpley.
Blake Hartley,
Yes.
Larry Randall,
Yes.
Bobby Bush,
Yes.
James Spears,
Yes. Next, this was, we've got a proposal for a purchase of, 4-ton heated asphalt trailer hot box.
I think each one of you you should have something from a company called Stringfellow. They have a state contract from Falcon. We don't have this piece of equipment, and we don't really have any large items purchased. We're trying to hold that kind of be conservative on things, but for the last couple of years, I've looked at this. Something we don't have, but it probably, I think it'd be beneficial to us as far as our patching and repair. It'd help us do a lot better job, and actually, it would just make it a lot more efficient, a lot easier to get a good job done. I'm sure if you've got them, should be $28,977 would be the most, because the estimate freight, it said the most would be $1,500, but that is under state contract.
Where are they delivering it here?
Yeah.
Where's the bidder at?
The dealer's out of Louisville.
Okay.
The company's out of Illinois, Iowa.
You got to pull this now on the dump trucks with you.
No, you can pull mine and pick it up. Well, it's probably what you put in there, how much you want, but you could, it's got a pin hitch on it.
Okay.
When we did the budget, I don't know if you look at our line item on equipment, we have the last payment scheduled for that tandem. We had to carry over from last year because they didn't have it finished. So that's like $49,000 of the budgeted line. But then we did budget enough for this.
We budgeted like 35.
What's that?
Did we budget like 35,000 for this?
About 30. I think we have about 40,000 over that payment for the
Equipment purchase.
truck. Yeah. We just put a little bit in there for rental costs on that line too. Marty and I talked about a little bit about how we can use it, so. I'd like to get it, like I said, something we don't have, but I think it'd benefit us.
That'd be pretty high from Louisville, $1,500, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's probably from the
That's from the factory.
factories. It'll come directly from the factory. The purchases through the company in Louisville.
I move to approve.
Second.
Bob.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Chandler and Mr. Bush.
Marty Chandler,
Yes.
Bobby Bush.
Yes.
Larry Randall,
Yes.
Blake Hartley,
Yes.
James Spears,
Yes. Next, Bobby wants to talk about moving the water line in preparation for the Barn School Road Bridge project.
Is there anything on the portal about it?
No, there's not. It's
Okay.
just, he's talked to the water district, and we got some pretty good lead time that we need to get it.
I had actually held this off, kind of waiting to get that land acquisition settled, because I thought we don't want to commit to spending between $44,000 and $48,000 is their estimate. But they told me now that it would be at least 2 months before they could even get to it. So, and I'm pretty sure we're going to probably do it, but I thought we might put it in motion, because I'd hate to wait another month or two and then we'd probably get caught not getting it done this fall. They gave me an estimate, $43,900, and then they put a 10% overrun on that, so $48,300 is their estimate to get that moved. They didn't know if they would contract it out or do it themselves. They think they'd probably contract it.
Well, they probably have to cut through solid rock and move it.
And what it is if y'all know where we're talking about moving the road to the east, the water line crosses Barnes School at that last residence to the east side of the road. So they're going to have to go back and tie into that joint, and then they'll run it down the current right-of-way around the west side of Barnstool, and then they'll have to cut across at the bridge. Because that would be laying right under where we're talking about trying to take some of that hill out above the creek before we put the new road in.
There's not any phone line or anything like that up there. It's just water line.
There's a Warner Electric has a utility line that ends down there. There's a pole, and we'll have to probably ask them to cut that pole off, line up at that residence, or they may have to move that. I don't know. That would be up to them, but there would be a line have to be moved. I've talked to Zach about that already.
Is that water line, they don't cross the creek with that?
Mm-hmm.
They do?
It crosses the creek on the downstream side of the bridge.
Oh, okay.
About, from what they told me, is about 20 feet beyond the bridge.
I had no idea.
I didn't know it did either until we got into this.
Right.
But I think we ought to at least go ahead and put it in motion, because if we wait, you know, he said 2 to 3 months, so
That puts us in October.
we could be running into, if we wait too much longer, we might be getting kind of late in the year to
Yeah.
do the rest of the work too.
Would that be included in the 80/20 bridge money for the
No.
Relocating utilities.
In that budget, that project is 340,000. I think 240 of it's from the state. I think that's right. And the other 100 we put in, we figured 40 something for this, about 50,000 for our work moving the road.
But that's included in our 20%
Yes.
of the bridge, or the bridge
Well,
project.
it's actually a little more than 20% is what we've got budgeted.
Okay.
I don't know that won't come out of, I don't think that would qualify for that 80/20 funding.
Okay.
That's what I say.
I didn't know if moving utilities was included in that.
Not because I
In
think
that
because
project.
it's up on the road. If he'd been down the creek, it may have, but.
Right.
Yeah, all that kind of moving that road and doing that is not, doesn't qualify for that bridge.
We have an extra 100,000 county money in that line for that.
Okay. All right. We've also talked about putting a parking area down there for the.
Well, that's why I was talking about this road. If we take that ridge, we'll have to take part of that off. And that's where the water line actually is.
Okay.
That's really the reason for moving the line,
It's for the.
is to get that top of that little knoll off for parking.
Okay.
So we need a motion to go ahead and approve Bobby to,
Yes.
So moved.
To initiate
the
with
water district. Yeah.
moving utility line.
So moved.
Mr. Chandler and Mr. Tarpley. Good.
Okay.
Who was the second?
Mr. Tarpley?
I thought Bobby was gonna talk the whole meeting.
Huh?
I thought Bobby was gonna talk the whole meeting.
He spent all he could spend today.
Marty Sheehan,
Yes.
Blake Hartley,
Yes.
Larry Randolph,
Yes.
Bobby Bush.
Yes.
James Spears.
Yes. And next, we have Mr. Hobson. You want to talk about a couple of proposals that he has for the court?
You don't have an extra, do you? Sharon?
You have mine.
Good morning, gentlemen. The reason I asked to talk to you today is two reasons. The first one, I'm not going to go into detail because it's better in a private session if you want to hear more because it involves employee pay. But I've got to touch on it for a minute because it does have to do with the second issue, which is our fleet of vehicles. The basics, we lost an officer. When I say lost, he left employment with the Simpson County Sheriff's Office. He resigned. Basically, the city of Franklin PD, they've got a lot of open spots right now. They're highly recruiting officers. They've got 120 counties. They've got a ton of cities they can recruit from, but they decided they wanted to keep it in Simpson County and hire one of my officers. That's their choice to make. It's kind of a forbidden taboo that if you send somebody to the academy, that another agency would even consider hiring. It's such a forbidden taboo that they put a KRS on it and said if an agency wants to do that, they've got to pay a contract. We set a contract for an officer to go to the academy. It's because we hired them, we trained them, all of that. In this case, and I've never heard of a contract getting paid, honestly. The city of Franklin paid the contract for our employee that went to work for. We got, and keep in mind, you lost a lot of money when that happened. And I say you, we as a county, because this doesn't come close to pay everything that we had invested. But we got $62,384. I took that money. Currently, it's in my drug account. The KRS says it's paid to the agency, straight out. So I put it in my drug account to park it there. The reason I'm talking to you about that and vehicles at the same time is our fleet, it's falling apart. I can sit here and tell you just story after story of what's going on. Originally, we all remember the pension crisis going back some months ago. I was told, my budget would have 2 vehicles in there. And those vehicles we would probably be getting about now if that's what we had done. Nobody did anything wrong. Pension crisis was there. We thought we were going to have to pay a whole lot of money in that, and I was asked, lay off vehicles. So I did. Didn't put any vehicles in there.
I will put in that I talked to Mr. Hobson about that if we got some relief from the pension situation, that I would do everything I could to help him get at least one vehicle.
That's all dead on. Nobody did anything. My addressing you guys, I'm not saying anybody's done anything wrong. A problem is a problem, and we need to look at how we can fix the problem. And we have an opportunity here. If you look at that vehicle list, and I'll tell you up front, as I discuss this problem, don't anybody panic, because I'm fixing to bring up buying a lot of vehicles, but I'm only asking you guys to supply $45,000, which is not even enough to bought the 2 I would have originally asked. So kind of take a breath and realize he's not fixing to hit us up for something big. If you look at that vehicle, if you remember back in 2011, this was before I was here, I know a lot went on. I won't go into all that other than about 5 vehicles were bought back in 2011. So you roll forward to 2018 and realize our fleet's starting to fall apart. Well, mainly those vehicles are starting to age. Now we had other vehicles that were even older. This chart that I gave you, if you look at the top section, they're broken into 3 sections. That top section breaks down our units that are actually working. They're out on 911 calls, and those are the vehicles they're driving. The last vehicle, we do those monthly, but sometimes they're a month or 2 behind before everything gets caught up. This list is for May, and as you see, those bottom 3 vehicles are all up in the high 130s. My guess is they're probably up in the 140s now because we've got a couple more months of mileage on those vehicles. That second column represents our pool vehicles. You know, we've got one that's got 150,000 miles. That second one, it's got the dash. It's got that dash because the odometer doesn't even work in it anymore, okay? We've looked at getting it fixed, and it's going to be so expensive to fix, it almost outweighs the cost. That bottom category, at the very bottom, if you see there's an 8 and a 4 listed, those are 2 vehicles that are junked. If you remember, we had one that the engine totally went out of, and we took another vehicle and replaced the engine out of it and just junked it, and we're using it for parts to keep these others going. Since then, we've had the same thing happen with another vehicle, that number 4, that 2009 Ford Crown Vic. with $176,000. Transmission went out on it, and to replace that transmission is going to be more expensive than the cars were. So instead of just throwing it away, we've put it in the back parking lot. We're using parts off that Ford to help fix these other Fords. What we need to do, and we're in a good position to do it now, I'm asking the fiscal court to do two things. One, to give me $45,000 to buy vehicles with. Second, I want to take about $70,000 of my money that's in my drug fund, and that's including the contract payoff that I mentioned yet. I want to hand it to Nicole with y'all's permission to put it in a line item for me to spend on vehicles. That'll give us a little bit over $100,000. With that money, I can buy 3 new vehicles, and all y'all gave me was $45,000 to do that. That'll get our fleet back on track. I caution everybody, and I say this all the time. I say it to you guys, I say it to you guys. If you want to run a police agency, you can expect you need to buy 2 vehicles every year. You can't. If you let your fleet go, it gets in bad shape, and then you need large numbers of vehicles. I can't even order the 3 vehicles right now. The new prices and stuff aren't out. If you say it's a go, we'll give you $45,000. If you give us $70,000, Jerry, in about a month, they'll have the new prices out, and I can order, and at probably the first of the year is when we can get these trucks. That's my guess, but I can tell you it ain't gonna happen overnight. So even y'all saying I can do something now, we still got a 6-month wait probably before we can get these vehicles. Any questions about that?
If you take the 70,000 and you have to hire an officer and send him back to school, is that gonna be depleted, or?
I'm not, we'll need to go into special session. That's a whole different matter.
Larry, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Larry, that's something we need to discuss, and I've already talked, there's 2 things we probably need to talk about, at least in exec session, and that's one of them.
I don't need to, but I can answer that. I can answer that question. I don't need, right now, I'm not going to hire somebody for that. We're going to go with that.
Okay.
And the 45 plus the 70 is for how many vehicles?
3.
It's for 3, but now, I want to caution you on that. I want y'all to give me the authority, put my 70 in there and your 45 in there, and then figure out what I need to do to fix the vehicle thing. I don't want to corner myself and sit here and say I have to buy 3 brand new vehicles. That's what I'd like to do, and that'd be the smart thing. I might buy 2 brand new vehicles and 2 used vehicles. It's whatever I can work out the best. And honestly, I have just a little bit of money left in my drug fund. I may turn around and use that too, because that's how dire we are. We had a pretty serious a manslaughter charge the other day. We went to pick the person up for the case. Our car broke down, and you've got about 10 people sitting in court that have to wait an hour because we have to send a second vehicle to go pick this person up.
I can verify that.
And that just happened to be in Bowling Green. Eric has said that about the jail, I'll say about us. I can take older vehicles and go serve papers. Some of these vehicles I can still use, but I will not, and it's not fair to them, it's not fair to y'all, it's not fair to the citizens. To send a young man up to Louisville to pick up a prisoner in a car. Yesterday, I sent somebody to pick up a prisoner in the animal control truck. Now, it's got a cage in it, so you can transport it at. I had to do that because the only other vehicle we had there is one that the windshield wipers don't work. And it's not an easy fix because we've already looked at it. It's not we're lazy and don't look at things. So when I'm having to send the animal control truck to go pick up prisoners, that's laughable. So this is a reasonable fix to get us back on track. Like I said, any other questions?
How many vehicles did you get last year? We bought
Well,
one.
keep in mind my budget was coming, I do a calendar year budget, and then it's transferred to a fiscal year budget. We had 2 vehicles and we got them at the very first of 2017. They may have had, yeah. So it's been a year and a half before we've gotten a vehicle.
You got 3 2017 on the list.
Yeah, and some of those 17s, we ordered in 16, you know how, like, right now you can order 18, but it's gonna be a 19.
Right.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's been a while.
I move we approve the request.
And I will add that there's enough money in the budget between insurance that we budgeted for me and Blake and some other people in the county that it's budgeted through the year. There's enough money in there to make up more than this $45,000 without affecting, without
Judge,
giving.
you're saying you want to give me more on top of this.
There's only
Well, I think
there's only about $500 more.
Honestly, at drug fund, it doesn't get there very often. Taking that $70,000 is going to help. I don't know what'll happen in the future. That's up to y'all. I'm telling you, y'all want to know what you can expect if you want to run a police agency. I'm telling you up front, and I'm giving you a year's notice. You need to expect that you need to buy 2 vehicles every year if you want to have a police agency. That's not much when a fleet is running on 18 vehicles, but that's what it takes. This gets us caught back up, and it'll get us through for a while. Any other questions?
I guess the only thing I want to add, you and I talked about this when we met the other day, and it's not bringing up any certain individual or anything, but next year that officer that is gone will have to be replaced, so that will help his deputy salaries. So we all need to keep that in mind too. It's not like his deputy salaries is going to be the same, so.
Well, yes and no. Here's the, like I said, we can talk about that in special session, but the premise of it I can answer. I plan ahead. I don't know if any of y'all picked up on that. I'm not just do it today. I look a year, 2 years, 5 years, and that's what I expect of everybody sitting in here. Okay? I planned ahead. I've got a guy in the academy right now. He graduates in August. I didn't know the city was going to come take one of our people. And that's all right, because I've got a guy getting out in August. Guess what? We got somebody, we still got to put another 12 to 16 weeks in it, because that's how much training these guys get even after they're out of the academy. We have our replacement. His figure's already there. What we're going without is going to be going ahead and sending somebody to the academy again. I'm going to put that off for a while. So there is a cost at some point in time. But when I say I think ahead, make no doubt that I realize today I'm saving $1 because my young man's over there and he was budgeted that. That's $1 that I can use in the future. Make no doubt that if I do any adjustments of pay, I haven't done it today, I'm saving that $1, and here in a few months or a few days or a few weeks, I can put that to use. I think about every cent that comes through the sheriff's office. Now think about it hard. But I will not run a police agency. Sheriff's office isn't meant to run a police agency. Sheriff's office has got certain duties. Our duties are paid for. The money I generate pays for all the things the sheriff's office is supposed to do. These vehicles I'm needing, that's for the police side. And it's not right not to have something reliable. OSHA is not a problem, but OSHA wants you to have the proper equipment. You know, we could work with revolvers. They might be cheaper, but that's not the right thing to do, not in this day and time. You gotta have the equipment that you need, and it needs to be safe equipment. You wanna talk about the big investment? That guy we just lost, you think he doesn't realize he can walk out the door, he can make more money, he can go get a newer car, because all the other agencies have decent cars. They're not gonna put you in a car with 130,000 miles and go, we realize you might have to do something important, but, so, that's enough about that. I mean, I can talk about it all day. I encourage everybody, come see me. I beg you to. My door's open. I've got serious things I'd like to talk to you about, and I want you to know for the future. Everybody. Any other questions?
Blake's got a motion on the floor.
Mr. Tarpley's got the motion, and need a second to approve. Mr. Bush? Motion to approve $45,000 from the fiscal court to the sheriff's office for vehicle purchase.
Would be,
And Pam,
put in
there's two things.
to establish a line.
And that I was gonna take 70,000, part of that 70,000 was the 62,384 from the employee contract, and turn over to fiscal court to be put in my line item with their 45 for the purchase of vehicles.
Would it be, motion be 70,000 from the sheriff's drug fund, 45 from the general fund, to a line item in the sheriff's budget for vehicle purchase?
That's good, but for auditing purposes, I need the 62,384. I mentioned that. A total of 70,000 from the drug fund, of which 62,384 was from the employee contract payment. I talked to the auditor about it. She said it was just.
Is that clear as mud?
Same.
Yes.
He's right, yes.
Blake Hartley.
Yes.
Bobby Bush.
Yes.
Marty Chandler.
Yes.
Larry Randolph.
Yes.
James Spears.
Yes.
Thank you, Tim.
Next, we've got to review and approve expense proposal for the electrical inspector, Bob Matthews, to go to the Western Section meeting for the International Association of Electrical Inspectors in Appleton, Wisconsin. He informed me yesterday, that he didn't go last year, but he went 2 years ago, and the court paid his expenses. He is actually going to ride, they're going to share expenses with the Warren County Electrical Inspector. They're going to ride together, share a room together. We're going to split the expenses, so I just needed a motion to approve to split the expenses with Warren County for the Bob Matthews trip for electrical.
So it'll be basically a half,
Half.
other than
his
the
food and
registration
stuff,
fee.
yeah, and the state
registration.
reimburses the
The
registration.
state reimburses the registration fee.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's one thing would not be splitting, obviously.
Yeah, the state reimburses the registration fee. We'll have to pay as per diem on food, on Bob's, but then the travel, the mileage, and the hotel will be split. So moved. Motion by Mr. Bush and second by Mr. Carpenter.
Bobby Bush.
Yes.
Blake Hartley.
Yes.
Larry Randolph.
Yes.
Marty Chandler.
Yes.
James Spears.
Yes. Next, we need to review and approve the budget transfers. We have just a couple of general ones.
Make a motion to approve.
Mr. Randolph made a motion.
Second.
Mr. Tarpley.
And which, I'm sorry, I didn't.
Mr. Randolph, it's,
Randolph and Hartley.
yes.
Which-
Budget
the
transfer.
budget transfers, the,
Financial business.
Larry Randolph.
Yes.
Blake Hartley.
Yes.
Marty Chandler.
Yes.
Bobby Bush.
yes,
James Spears.
yes. Next, we need to review and approve the cash transfer from the general fund to the jail fund, and it's $180,262, and it represents, the total cash transfer from the fiscal court to the jail over and above the debt service. We decided to go ahead and transfer the entire cash amount, given the fact that we have 3 payrolls coming up in August. We made the workman's comp quarterly payment has come out right here at the beginning of the year. It's got a little bit of a cash flow crunch, so, and the check has not come in. So, I need a motion. Mr. Randolph and Mr. Bush.
Larry Randolph.
Yes.
Bobby Wood.
Yes.
Marty Chandler.
Yes.
Blake Hartley.
Yes.
James Spears.
Yes. Next, review and approve the cash transfer from the general fund to the 911 fund, and this includes the $25,000 from the city. Is that correct? Do what?
The KSP payment will include that 25.
Yes.
This is all $6,000 transfer, we got that.
Okay, well, yeah, the one on here is 31,000, that's,
Yeah, that's the whole one.
Okay.
There's just, you refresh.
The one I got is 6,000.
okay, okay.
Move we approve.
So we sent them the 25,000 from the city and then 6,000 from this
There's
transfer.
another 911.
Yeah, okay.
Got a motion by Mr. Tarpley. Need a second.
Second. Second by Mr. Bush.
Blake Hartley.
Yes.
Bobby Wood.
Yes.
Marty Chandler.
Yes.
Larry Randolph.
Yes.
James Spears.
Yes.
James Spears.
Yes. Motion to review and approve the bills and claims.
I moved to approve, but I got a question after a second.
I'll second.
Bobby, on this waste tire grant, does the state, I know she paid the state back 33, 31 for that waste tire.
That was not the large collection. That's what we get. They give us an amount yearly to spend on that.
And so if we don't spend it, we send it back? Okay, all right. I didn't know how that worked.
It had nothing to do with the collection that they did in the summer.
So that would be like money if y'all pick up tires on the side of the road or something,
That's
or if you
how we
find
have to
that?
pay to dispose of those.
Okay, okay.
We have a motion and a second.
Correct. Mr.
Was
Chandler.
that Chandler and Randolph?
Chandler.
Chandler and Randolph,
Randolph, yes.
Are we ready to vote?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Marty Chandler.
Yes.
Larry Randolph.
Yes.
Blake Hartley.
Yes.
Bobby Bush.
Yes.
James Spears.
Yes. Need to review and approve the June 30th, 2018 financial statement.
Move to approve subject to audit.
Second.
Mr. Chandler and Mr. Bush.
Vote.
Yes, please.
Marty Chandler.
Yes.
Bobby Bush.
Yes.
Larry Randolph.
Yes.
Blake Hartley.
Yes.
James Spears.
Yes. This time, one of the other things we need to look at is the animal shelter has got some, what they call immediate needs, which was to get some kennel doors repaired, and they've got a quote from T. Lanham for $2,250, and then they we're requesting 15 drain covers. They've already gotten 7, and they're $135 a piece, so that leaves 8 to fill their immediate need, which is a total of $3,330. They have $29.76 in their account currently, is that right? Budgeted?
Supplement,
Yes.
that's what they ended the fiscal year not spent.
Right, not spent.
Not carried over.
Right. They've got a few more wants, some more gates to fix and about 7 more drains. Their total to get everything up to what they want, if they could get everything fixed, would be $5,661, which that would take about $2,700 from us over and above their carryover money. I think we should probably take their immediate needs, which only cost, it's just $400 or $500 from the fiscal court to take care and go ahead and get everything that they need to get done right away. And I think there'll be enough money in this upcoming budget to do the rest of their needs through the year. So I guess I need a motion to approve to the fiscal court the difference between $29.76.24 and $33.30.
So moved.
Mr. Tarpley and Mr. Bush.
Lloyd Tarpley.
Yes.
Bobby Bush.
Yes.
Marty Chandler.
Yes.
Larry Randolph.
Yes.
James Hughes.
Yes. Next, we put this off last week, or 2 weeks ago, because you weren't here, to discuss the park renovations. And Bill would like to discuss you'll notice it was in the final, the claims, the final settlement on the park renovations that we've done. Got it somewhere, here we go.
You have the sheet before you. The first sheet is the itemizer, the contractors that we use, the appropriations ledger on the second page. Is every invoice that was used out there. If you notice down at the bottom, I highlighted the parking lot and road, which was taken out of that line item, but was not used for the restrooms. So our total restrooms came in at the $43,809.15. And that's about 9,000 something under the original proposal, because I changed some concrete that kind of was a luxury to have this extra concrete and save some on. We had 2 doors repaired instead of 2 doors replaced. We did all the electrical in-house, so we saved some money there. This project began on February 22nd, ended June 4th. That's the last day I was out there and put the signage up on the restroom wall. So the project is complete. I'm just asking the Parks Board now to maintain those, see to it that those restrooms are maintained and cleaned, and everything's going to be cleanable because everything out there was painted epoxy. So I'll answer any of your questions if you have any questions about any of the expense.
If you haven't been out there and looked, the difference is quite impressive. The improvement to the bathrooms and the facilities, and I'd like to thank Bill for everything he's done on that.
Bill, thank you.
Yes, sir.
You did a good job.
So we still have
We still have $107,000 to,
The next part. I'm sorry.
We haven't got a bill from from
Scotty's.
Scotty's. We haven't got that bill in yet, have we?
For the parking lot and the road?
For the parking lot and the road?
Yeah, it's on
Yeah,
there.
it should show it on there.
Oh, it's already been, okay.
$48,795.
If you haven't seen it, you can make a complete circle now around the park. And the road is gravel, hadn't been blacktop, but it's a pretty nice drive when you go to the right and circle all the way around. Should alleviate a lot of the complaints we had about not being able to get to the lower baseball parking lot. Now you can get to it from either direction. While I'm talking about the park, the soccer complex has been moved or will be moved. They're planning on playing soccer on the 2 big fields this year. There's been a concession stand and a storage building built. If you haven't seen it, they did a nice job building it. It's attractive, looks good, blends in with the rest of the park facility. So I think
So they're no longer going to use the soccer complex on Ditmore Ford Road? Or Kenneth Utley Drive?
they're going to practice. I mean, I think they're practicing down there, but the soccer games will be played up on the 2 big fields.
Are they have lighting around them?
No,
So is that something that the park is going to look at doing with some of this money?
it's on the long-term agenda, but it's terribly expensive.
Would it be cheaper now than it will be in the future? Always is.
Yeah.
Just put one a year.
Well, since they're adjacent, you can put one pole down the middle and hang lights on both sides of it. And it could save some money, and that might light it up enough that they could play night soccer, but still under consideration.
Are there people that block the road down there on Kenneth Utley Drive to put in kayaks like they do on like Saddler Ford and Barn School? And I don't go through there much. Does anybody know if they block that, or they don't block it, but they?
It doesn't have the traffic that the other things.
I didn't know maybe.
Our school and Saddleford have the heaviest traffic. I mean, there's traffic on all of them.
Jamie and I have talked about that, as being a place, but I don't know if it floods, if you put gravel in there and it floods, it's going to wash it away. So I don't know what we could do, but that may be something the park could look at too, maybe provide an area down there for people to park, and that might relieve some of the traffic problems at Barn School and Saddler Ford. If they knew that there was a nicer area there, they could park and put their kayaks in and go down the creek on. And especially if you had
I took a picture of, but you can pass that down, I took a picture of a kayak entrance in North Carolina that, when I was kayaking last week, that I thought if we could put some of those, we might put some of those in. And I've actually talked to the Kellys and David Carver and some of the local citizens that would be affected by and so far I don't have a whole lot of support for.
That's what we have the intention of doing something like that at Barn School.
I think Memorial Day weekend, Kent Kelly said there was 52 vehicles parked at Saddler Ford.
Yeah.
Last Sunday there was 28.
I won't hardly go through there on the
It's they get parked where you can't hardly get through the road. And if they're working on the weekends with their hay equipment and things like that, there's times when they've had to have vehicles moved to be able to get through. And but the big problem is if you do put a parking lot down in that flood zone or down there if the creek gets out of bank, it's going to wash it out.
Well, you'd have to put it up far enough that it would be kind of out of that. But that's something maybe the park could look at, as providing,
And then the other question is, are people still gonna park where they're parking, or are they gonna walk 50 or 60 yards to the creek?
if they get towed a couple times, they might.
They get towed a couple times, they would, yeah.
The judge, if there's, just from the police aspect, if there are suitable parking places for them, we can help them force when they go. But currently, there's not anywhere for them to go, it is open water, and, you know, they're out just having fun, recreation.
Right.
Yes, if there was an actual lot for them to go to, we could probably curtail it more with people.
Right.
We're
And
just
something,
doing
another thing that, I mean, thoughts that everybody can think about is one of the concerns that David Carver had was, you know, they've even put trash cans down at the creek to encourage people not to litter and things. He said, heck, they throw the trash cans in the creek, you know, and so, if maybe we had some local businesses or something that would sponsor each parking lot to, you know, once every 2 weeks, they'd go clean them up or pick up or whatever. But, no, it's just a thought. It's an option.
There's lots of people coming to the county every weekend.
Yep, to kayak. I mean, it's.
To do this, so it's a major draw for a lot of people.
And Sadler, Ford, and Barnes, are they the two favorite places to put in?
And that's the reason when we do the bridge at Barnesville, it's what Bobby was talking about. We're gonna take a section of the existing road and make that a parking area for people that kayak. And then there should be some grants available or through Parks and Recreation where we could actually make a ramp for the kayakers to go in.
One thing you'll need to keep a close eye on if you do the ramps is you need to do it on a probably, there was 3 of them in the stretch we were kayaking on. 2 of them were they had rock with riprap around them really well and everything. And then the other one, the mud had almost washed out from underneath it, and they had a big track hoe sitting there getting ready to try to fix it. So it's something you'll have to, somebody.
The problem with the trash and stuff, y'all have a valuable resource right here in Simpson County, we just call it.
All right. Thank you. But I think that's all I had on that. Magistrates, Bobby, you want to talk about the
Auction.
Yep.
We got 2 actual bids for the auction for the jail, for the mowers. Jackie Forsey has got a small health problem, can't do it right now. But we got one from Country Real Estate through Jeff Brick and through Jerry Jones. Jerry will do it for 10% flat fee, and Mr. Britt will do it with a 10% buyer's premium. If we want to do it now. Of course, we have to pay for the advertising, which we're going to have to advertise anyway. And I think that's the way we've been doing it in the past. But there was a question about it earlier.
I question whether we have to advertise these bids in the newspaper. If it's less than $20,000, their commission, it does not have to be bid or advertised in the newspaper. Is that correct? Okay. So this will
We're
be
going to advertise in the newspaper anyway.
Yeah, we'll have to advertise the sale, but advertising the bid.
The auction bidder?
Yeah, we will not have to do that because the commission will be less than $20,000.
Okay.
So, in other words, these bids, if you've talked, will be sufficient when we choose an auctioneer to.
Jerry Jones says we pay for all advertising. The county pays for all advertising.
Yeah, that's what we did last time too.
And I think the bid from Ron Kirby says that they will help advertise on, did I read it, said that they would
The
help?
last sentence in there says there will be no charge to the Simpson County Fiscal Court whatsoever for services and assistance. So by that, they would pay for advertising and everything.
Ron Kirby.
Will we still have to advertise that we're having an auction for county property? Will we still have to do that too?
Yeah, but we don't have to put up signs or do any kind of ads or take pictures or any of that,
Okay.
according to what that says right there.
So
To answer
says
your
that
question
from-
is yes, we would have to put some sort of advertisement in the paper.
Says that they will also promote the auction through a national franchise and local website, social media, auction signage, and distribution of auction brochures. Do we need a motion on that
So
now?
the person that buys it,
Basically,
he buys something for $100, then he's got to pay another
$10, yeah. It's basically a 10% commission. I mean, it's whether the buyer knows it, that it's being taken, it's,
you tell them it's a buyer's premium basically ahead of time.
Yeah.
He knows what's, whatever he bids, it's
10% more.
Yes, you will need a motion if you're going to pick an auctioneer who to go forward with, then yes, you will need a motion on that.
Do we need to get the surplus list first? Do you have that list?
We've sent it all over the body and it's adding up every day. I've got something I'd like to ask the court after y'all approve whatever, whoever.
I guess my question is, do we need to have the surplus list, a motion, and have it approved before we approve the auction?
Yes, you have to declare X amount of property surplus to be sold, and then, you know, you probably need a separate motion to do the, you know, whoever your auctioneer is.
We sent the list, Bob's got the list of what we've got.
I've got the list on my phone.
What?
I can get it shortly, but I don't have it with me, have it on my phone.
We've got time to approve that at the next meeting and still, when are y'all, is the proposed auction dates? Is it, did I see the last of August, 1st of September?
It's fine with me. September, I can't do it September 4th or 7th. Somewhere.
We do it our first meeting in August, that should
We
work.
do it in August.
All right. Was plan on, having your surplus list finalized and where we can approve it and we can pick an auctioneer at the first meeting in August. Does that work? I said, we need to have the final surplus list to approve and then we'll approve the auctioneer at the first meeting in August.
It should be August 7th.
August 7th, yes. Sam, do you have anything?
Yes, I've had several folks come in, about ad valorem taxes that are delinquent. To be fair, we've had, usually to deal with some of these, there has to be a meeting or agreement between myself, the clerk, and the sheriff, between everybody's vacation schedules and such. It's taking a little more time than usual, but that's just part of business time of year. Hopefully we'll get that done by the end of the week. We can make decisions on those. People have been coming in, paying. They've also been doing the payment plan. If you wish to make a payment plan, basically the way it works is you come into the county attorney's office. If you can't pay it all at once, you can sign an agreement where you pay half now and you have to pay half in early August before the sale. The tax sale is currently scheduled for August 14th. Is that still correct, Jolene? August 14th. So please make sure, if possible, you can get your taxes paid before then, because if they go to a third party, it'll cost even more. Potentially they could foreclose and cause even more aggravation. That's all I got. Besides a couple of matters in executive session.
Anybody else have?
I think Bobby has something else.
jail has a surplus explorer they want to give to the building inspector.
Right.
Is that what you want to talk about there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go
I've
ahead.
got several things I want to talk about, those vehicles and stuff, and what we're on auction. I know Jerry D brought something to your attention. I'm kind of doing the same thing. We're talking about that list that we're going to auction. My cruisers, the two blue ones that we bought way back used, they're wore out. And I know you asked me not to put a vehicle in, and I respected that in the budget. My question is, and it determines what all we put in this auction, is there any way that you would consider taking the proceeds from the vehicles that we surplus and creating us a line item for a vehicle? And allowing me to take money out of the commissary and transfer it to Nicole or to the fiscal court to put in to that line item so we can get us a vehicle also.
We do not need money out of the auction side. You're on surplus lawnmowers.
There's going to be a separate, some's going to go to the general fund, some's going to go to the commissary. All the mowers, everything that we bought out of the commissary has to go back into the commissary. I mean, that's law.
Correct.
The vehicles, you donated the two F-250s.
I did.
He did not donate them. He got them taken care of.
That's generous of him, Marty.
Bobby donated them to us.
I'm not donating vehicles.
You know what I mean.
Mighty generous.
We've run into a problem with the trucks on the pickup crews. I'm having to use one of them that we were going to surplus just to get us through, because we're running into the same thing that Sheriff Hobson's running into as far as being able to order now. It's going to be, 6 months before we can ever get a vehicle. So we're going to have to limp one of them to continue the trash pickup. And my cruisers got a lot of miles on them. They're starting to deteriorate. Like I said, those are the ones that we bought used when we started, with the exception of one got crashed and insurance replaced it. But I'm in a bind too, and I'm willing to try to do what we can do on our end, work with the court on y'all's end, so we have the equipment we need. And what I'm asking is, can we take the vehicles that we surplus in the auction and create a line item, whatever is in there, we make up the balance, and we can do that from the commissary to the court. And then
Well, I would think what would need to happen was, we need to get the list of the vehicles that you're wanting to surplus, and then after the auction, we'll see how much money's available, and then
That's why I'm asking, if you're willing to do that, I'm going to probably put both of those cruisers in the auction. If not, I'm going to have to hold on and just patch one to get them through. I mean, it's still going to be 6 months. I'm going to have to make up the difference for 6 months.
How many vehicles are you talking about surplusing, and do you have any
I've got an
estimate?
F-250, that's one, and if we put two cruisers in there, that's two. If I give up the other one to Joe Perry, Mr. Joe Perry, that's four. That I'll be getting rid of, actually 5, but I'm gonna have to hold on to one of those F-250s for 6 months regardless. And then it's gonna be sitting there until we have the next auction.
How many miles do they have on the F-250?
One of them's got, what's miles on the F-250?
One of them's got 115,000 on it. Other one don't have that many miles on it, probably 60 or 70.
But that's the one that they thought maybe something else.
An F-250 was what, 60,000? What'd you say is wrong with it?
I think that's the one that they questioned on the odometer, wasn't it?
Well, right now, I can tell you the compressor's out in it, and it's gonna cost about $1,000.
Yeah, that's the one that's down with the compressor and stuff in it. But I don't think the mileage is right on that truck. They questioned it when we got it. The other one's right.
And they're not easy miles, they're hard miles, picking up trash off the side of the road.
They're the trucks that sit on half off the road and half on the road. And you know what that does. where it's from and where it's bringing it out.
I guess we just kind of have to have some figures on, or at least some estimates on what those things are going to bring, what kind of money they're going to generate. Kind of just.
Personally, I wouldn't have a problem if he's taking his surplus vehicle money and then adding to it out of the commissary to buy another vehicle.
That's all I'm asking, creating a line item.
And you would.
So you're wanting to take 3 vehicles and turn it into one, basically?
It's not gonna cover one, but yes,
I know.
down payment on one anyway.
Right.
Are we gonna surplus the Joe's truck also on that?
The what?
If he gives the Explorer to Joe, the building inspector, are we gonna surplus that little S10 of his?
Yes.
So that'll be, it needed to be added to the list?
Yes.
Okay, very good. You catch all that?
I'm sorry, go ahead, sir. I'm sorry, I apologize.
If we give the Explorer to Joe,
Yes,
the
sir.
building inspector, we're gonna surplus the S10. And he said yes.
Yeah, it needs to be added.
We'll put that on the list to be surplus.
Okay. When I guess, on that aspect, when do y'all want me to just, I mean, it's ready to go. When do y'all want us to give it to him? I don't know how that works. Bring it over and park it? It's parked
I
in
guess-
our lot right now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it needs to be, it needs to be surplus from the jail and added to,
Who's it titled in?
It's titled to the jail. Yeah, for fiscal court, yes.
they're all physical court, so that,
It's just a matter of dropping it over here.
Those are over.
okay.
But I mean, if it's already titled,
Sometimes I think we just transfer it from one. I'd have to look back at minutes because the
We did
retro
that.
also came.
Yeah, we did that.
How long ago that
but I
was.
mean, if it's titled in Simpson County or fiscal court, then there's no need to transfer title, and it's just a matter of bringing it over
It's
here.
just kind of internal and then.
Yeah, you got to make it in-
Insurance from the jail to.
Right, but I mean, there's nothing to, I mean, it's internal stuff, it's not stuff you have to do.
We just have to pull it off our list and put it on his, I guess. However you do that.
I thought all the vehicles were registered to the
Fiscal court?
fiscal court.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
Is all the sheriff's vehicles registered to fiscal court?
Pardon?
Is all the sheriff's vehicles registered to Simpson County Fiscal Court?
They are, be aware, this morning we talked about using drug funds. Or no, I'm not being smart. When one is bought with drug funds, the sheriff's office actually owns it. None of our current vehicles are owned that way. And then when we resell it, at some point in the future, it does go back to the drug fund. So there'll be an asterisk by a vehicle that's bought with drug funds, but right now we don't have that.
So
I was just asking, like, I know all the road department
Your
vehicles.
commissary
all the
vehicles will be the
sheriff's
same,
Department
under the
vehicles,
same-
all that is registered or titled under Simpson County Fiscal Court.
Yeah, they're all like, even the drug vehicles would be.
Okay.
And technically, they're all owned by Simpson County.
Right.
The only difference it comes is when you sell it.
Okay.
But what Eric needs to know is, can he use the proceeds from the sale of the vehicles?
I don't have a
Before he
line.
knows what he's gonna put in the auction, so I'm okay with that.
Include the red truck.
Y'all gonna let me have the red truck back?
Well, sure, if you're giving one. Sounds fair to me.
All right. That's all I was asking. If we can do that, then we can creep through this year.
So what, we need a motion to approve a line item for,
We're gonna have to do a budget amendment. Once we figure out what those funds are, coming in, we'll do a budget.
That's not something we can do
Because it will
today.
be new monies.
yeah, okay.
And then we'll be able to.
So it's not something we need to have under motion or anything like, it's just basically the court.
We'll have to figure out, like I say, what that money, exact money amount's gonna be, and we'll work on the budget amendment.
So we have to do a budget number for what we're talking about doing for the sheriff too.
So if nobody has a problem with that, at a later date, we'll have an amendment that we can vote on. So,
Fair enough.
all right.
Do we need to, I'm not sure, do we need to make a motion, have a motion that we transfer what is it, the 2002 Explorer? Do we need to do that today?
I don't think we're transferring it to anybody. It's all already in.
Well, I mean, from the jail to planning and zoning, just from department.
Just from department.
I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and fold minutes.
Well, just to be safe, let's just,
Do it.
Do it.
Second, floor.
Motion by Bush and a second by Mr. Tarpley to transfer to trade the 2002 Explorer for some older red S10. I'm not sure how old it is.
We'll figure it out. We'll clean it up.
Okay. Bobby Bush,
Yes.
Blake Hartley,
Yes.
Marty Engler,
Yes.
Larry Randolph,
Yes.
James Spears.
Yes.
Thank you for hearing.
If you don't mind, I have two things I'd like to mention. One, CSX is gonna close the Peterbilt crossing tomorrow, possibly for up to a week, for, maintenance, some type of work. And Mike mentioned, we talked about the road paving. I should have mentioned this earlier, but because of the 65-35 expenditures, the election year, and the Barn School project, and then the industrial authority, that money's coming through the public works. I think we'll probably consider just paving the flex roads this summer, so we can get that reimbursed, and then wait till spring for those other roads, because we have a lot of cash going
It's
out
gonna be, yeah, it's,
for those things. So just so you know what our thoughts are, I should have mentioned that earlier.
We need to be very careful on the budget
right.
this year.
Well, the Garvin Lane extension and the Barn School projects will have to, I mean, they're gonna happen as fast as possible. So we'll have to watch getting,
And those are not included in the grant, those one-time monies are not included in that 65.
they're not, okay. But,
We still have to pay them to get reimbursed though,
yeah,
so the money's.
cash
gonna go
flow,
out.
yeah.
Right.
All right. And if nobody has anything else, I think we have to go into executive session.
Correct.
Pursuant to 61.810, exceptions to open meetings for discussion of proposed or pending litigation. Also for future acquisition or sale of real estate property, and for the discussion and hearing which might lead to the appointment, discipline, or dismissal of an individual employee. Thank you. We need a motion to adjourn.
Oh, no, you need a motion.
Motion.
Go into
Go into
executive.
executive session. Mr. Tarpley and Mr. Bush.
Blake Hartley.
Yes.
Bobby Bush.
Yes.
Marty Chandler. Larry Randolph.
Yes.
James Spears.
Yes. Is Jared D. going to